Marc Raimondi here with the Olympic gold medalist, the former UFC flyweight champion, the former UFC bantamweight champion, the king of cringe, Triple C, a man who goes by many names, but your government name is Henry Cejudo. Henry, I know you're very excited to see me. We only have 5 minutes. You know the rules of the octagon. It's 5-minute rounds. We have 5 minutes to break down UFC 272, Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. Grudge match, right? This is one of the biggest grudge matches in UFC history. Former best friends, former roommates. Now they cannot stand each other. Henry, you know a little bit about talking smack, a little trash talk here and there. How much does that actually affect the fight, though? Can it affect the fight?
Well, because these two guys are actually professionals, Mark, it's almost like they're accustomed to being in that limelight of talking trash. So I don't think none of that trash talking is really going to get to either one of them, because once, if you really think about it, Mark, they're almost one's a gimmick and the other one's a persona. Like George is a lot, you know what I'm saying? When you turn the camera on, it's a little bit different. So that being said, I think this is going to come down to technique. This is going to come down to tactics. This is going to come down to preparation. And this is a style of two fighters that have the complete opposite style. This is why they were friends. Remember, let's keep in mind is, George was able to grab a hold of Colby to help him in that certain area that he needs help on. And in exchange, Colby got what George had, which was striking. So that being said, man, this fight is going to be a barn burner, but I'm leaning more towards Colby Covington's side. And the only reason why, guys, is because you can learn jiu-jitsu, you can learn striking, you can learn all that. But unless you're a former wrestler that has been through a college program and really understand that grind, his threshold is so much bigger. His gas tank is so much bigger, and he's going to really slow the down fight. He's going to make George fight all these positions. Whether George gets up or not, he's going to continue to keep getting on his legs, taking him down against the fence and things of that nature. I'm pulling for George. I'm going for George. I see the only way of George really getting the victory with Colby Covington is going to be something that has to do with blitz. Either a blitz knee, how he caught Ben Askren, or a blitz punch, how he caught, Darren Till.
I want to ask you actually a little bit more about Covington, because this is a guy who he fought Kamaru Usman, who is ESPN's pound-for-pound top fighter in the world. I think most people would agree, right? Usman is the man right now. Covington fought.
But he ain't no triple C. Mark. Well, go ahead.
Active fighters. You're there. Fat and happy in Phoenix, Arizona. Usman is doing the damn thing in the octagon. But my point is, Covington has fought that guy, Usman, about as close as you can fight anybody, right? I mean, both fights went 5 rounds. One was a late finish, but the other one was a very close decision. What makes Covington so good that he's able to kind of stick with the best fighters in the world?
Well, it's his tenacity. I go back to what I was telling you. It's that grind. The reason why he wasn't able to grind out Kamaru Usman is because Kamaru Usman comes from that same school. They kind of have similar styles with the pressure, the level changes, the fakes. They get into your legs. But I think Kobe's he's more like a dog on a bone. It's like try getting a legit dog by yourself and try getting him to release that bone with just one person kind of shaking him off. When you come from that school. So what happened with the Colby Covington, the Usman fight, what happens is the wrestling nullifies itself. There's maybe only a couple takedowns. I think they both take each other down maybe one time in that second fight. And I just think it's just different. It's like once you've been through the trenches, once you really understand hell, you're able to put that forth in that fight. And I'm gonna go back to my fight with Marlon Moraes. That fight, like, I understood the grind. I started picking up the pace when I understood that his demeanor was changing. So it's almost like that. Kobe does a really good job, and guys like him, when they know they don't have that certain gift that they can hit you with other tricks and trades, that's all he knows. And for that reason, that's what makes Colby Covington tough, because that is the only thing that he knows. He just knows how to wrestle and ground and pound.
Masvidal has lost 2 in a row, as we know, but he has that great equalizer. And, of course, he is the underdog in this fight, but, we've seen him against Ben Askren, 5-second flying knee KO. We've seen him against Darren Till. We saw him lump up Nate Diaz at MSG. What does he have to do? Like, can he pull off this upset? And if he does, what does that even look like?
Yeah, well, if he does, like, if I was in Masvidal's corner, is you got to focus on the entries. You have to disguise whatever it is that you want to actually do in that fight and focus more on the entry rather than the combo. And you really got to go for broke. You really have to take risk. And if you're willing to take risks, the higher the risk, the greater the reward with a guy like Colby Covington.
Okay, real quick. I think I know what you're gonna say, but what is your prediction for this UFC 272 main event?
Predictions, man. It's like, man, like I said, I'm cheering for George. I'm rooting for George. I want George to win, but it's hard for me. It's hard for me to not go against somebody like Colby Covington because of the styles. My styles do make fights, but styles also can dismantle other styles. And for that reason, man, I'm going for George. I'm cheering for George. But man, if you had to put the money, I'm not going to bet any of this. I mean, how can you not go for Colby?
Henry, thanks so much for doing this again sometime. You like to make history. Maybe we can be the shortest ever hosts of Sports Nation. What do you think?
Let's
do it.
go.
UFC 272 tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Should be a fantastic main event.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.